Hello.
Hi, everybody.
We're back. We've got another Love is Blind recap for you. Episodes 10 and 11 have dropped, and as usual, we're obsessed. So we're excited to talk about that.
Some juicy thoughts.
Indeed. But first, if you're joining us for the first time, hi, I'm Em.
And I'm Tima. Welcome to Bed Buds,
where we fall down that internet and pop culture rabbit hole, go on some nerdy deep dives and obsessions like this one, and explore the wildest stories from our friends and the internet. All right, friend. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this time I took notes because I have so many thoughts and wanted to keep track of them. But I've broken my notes down into like pre-pool party, pool party, and post-pool party. The pool party is really
organized.
Yeah, it's like the crux of this time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like BC, AD.
No. Don't bring Jesus into this. All right.
They are, so might as well.
True. Facts.
So the episodes start with Jeremy, single, solitary, lonely, solo, without a partner Jeremy, meeting his mom in a dog park.
Oh my God. This scene, hats off to that mama.
Oh my God. You know, she's so tired of his shit.
Yeah. You can tell from her face. She's like, you did this shit again? I knew you would fuck
you
this
really
up.
haven't changed. She literally at one point says, "You're lucky it wasn't me, because I would have been sat up there waiting for you." Which also, actually, honestly, I cannot believe that Laura like slept that night. Because I also would have been sat up there waiting for you at 4:30 a.m. or 5:30 or whenever you came. You would have turned the lights on. It would have been me with a flashlight under my chin. Like, where have you been?
I would have probably cried myself to sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
God.
I can't give up sleep like that. Like, I might be depressed, down on my luck.
I would be pacing and be like, "Where are you?"
Wow.
Yeah. Not in like, not saying that every single time my partner comes home like late, I'm gonna do that.
Right.
But in this specific instance,
Yes.
I would have absolutely been sat up waiting for him.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
But yeah, his mom looked absolutely exhausted. She's like, "This is not the first time. I know this is why your last engagement ended." She doesn't say that, but we can read between the lines. And he says a kind of different version of his story.
He does.
Yeah.
This guy is constantly lying about what happened that night.
Yeah, this time he says that he drove Sarah Ann home and then they talked. So he told Laura and us in his ITMs that he had just sat with Sarah Ann in a parking lot. So clearly, after she caught him in the lie, he was like, well, now I have to change my story. Who knows if this one is the true one or not?
So, okay, something I don't understand is how people on reality TV lie.
Yes.
Everything you're saying is being recorded. Do you not understand that?
Yes, like obviously, if you say something in an ITM and there are cameras there, like that's crazy for you to then change your story.
Yeah.
But, and somebody I listened to this other podcast called Two Black Girls, One Rose. Shout out, they're amazing. They do like Bachelor and Married at First Sight and all sort of other stuff. But something they pointed out, and I think they said that they got this from another podcast who had said this, so we're kind of repeating this. But I didn't realize this. Where is this camera crew? We are hearing about so many things after the fact. It's like, oh, this happened. Why aren't they funding? This is reality television. Like, why don't they have 15 camera crews with these people at all times? Like, I want to see what's happening. I don't want to just hear that it happened.
Okay, yeah, because I heard for Love is Blind, they only film in the afternoons. I don't know why that is.
They're missing so much.
Yeah, they're missing a lot of moments. Yeah, that's so true.
I guess there's like a merit, like sometimes the he said, she said is pretty juicy, and it does lead to moments of like there are times when I feel like they strategically leave things out. Like back in the pods with Amber, AD, and Matthew, like it was very strategic for them to not show us Amber's conversations with Matthew, because then it was a shock to us, like it was a twist.
Right.
When we found out that had been happening.
Right, yeah.
But some of the stuff, I'm like, why aren't you filming this? Where are you? Like, what are you doing right now?
That's so
this
true.
is your job.
I really, like, I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just too many hours of filming. Because apparently it's like 10,000 hours of filming.
Yeah.
Just filming in the afternoons.
That's what you got to do. I mean, if you sign up to have a reality TV show, you have to film it. And then,
true.
you know, decide what you're going to leave on the cutting room floor.
That's true. That's true.
That was such a good point.
They need a bigger budget, especially for something like Love is Blind.
Yeah. Netflix,
which is really, really
Netflix
popular.
can't afford this.
Yeah.
To film these people.
That doesn't make sense.
Was like, what are they doing? They should be there. Like, filming all this stuff.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Anyway, but yeah, his story changed. His mom was tired of his shit. So basically what we know pre-pool party is that Jeremy and Laura are pretty much like not talking at this point. Yeah. And he says to his mom, so nonchalantly, by the way, like he's just kind of like, yeah, well, that's what happened. And then he says, well, I didn't think it would cost me a fiance. You know, like, wah, wah. like, I'm waiting for him to look to camera and be like, you know, like,
oh, well.
Not again.
Another one down the drain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
no,
doesn't
like,
care.
I don't know what world he's living in.
Oh my God.
He's so nonchalant about everything.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself is like a red flag to me.
Oh, yeah.
Nonchalant is a no-go.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I want you to be chalant at all times.
Yeah, I want you to be obsessed.
Yes. Hyper chalant. No, that's Chelsea. I would say Chelsea is hyper chalant. Where do you all fall on the chalant spectrum?
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. And then Jimmy and Chelsea. Should we talk about Jimmy and Chelsea?
Oh my God.
And the hyper chalantness?
No, we need the hyper.
So, first of all, Jimmy and Chelsea meet Jimmy's parents. Mm-hmm. They're so cute.
Yeah.
They're
They were
adorable.
sweet. They were sweet. I thought they were sweet.
I just thought they were so cute and just simple people who were like, yeah, we've just been married for a really long time. Like, I don't know. It also made me like Jimmy more because what I've said about Jimmy this whole time is I feel like Jimmy's just like a simple guy who like sometimes puts his foot in his mouth, but I've just never seen any ill intentions with Jimmy. Like, I feel like Jimmy like wears his heart on his sleeve. Like, he says what he means. Sometimes, you know, that means that, like I said, he word vomits a little bit, but most of the time I feel like what you see is what you get. And seeing his mom and dad, I was like, that tracks. Like, I feel like that's how he was raised. And I felt like his parents were very, like, traditional. They said they've been married, like, 40-something years.
Yeah.
And I could see him, like, having grown up around that, wanting that. And it made him feel, to me, more genuine in his, like, want to make things work out with Chelsea and want to be like, yeah, once I've committed, I've committed.
I will say that my beginning impression of Jimmy was a lot worse than it is now. Mm-hmm. I feel like he showed more strength in a relationship that I was expecting from him. So I'll give him that.
Yeah. He's not giving up. Even though he maybe should.
He's not giving up. You're right. And this is the one. It's okay. You know, we'll talk about that.
Okay. So yeah. So their conversation goes really well. Mm-hmm. And then that same night, at first I wasn't sure if it was like that night, the next day, because we're telling this linearly right now, but in the show, I think something happened like in between with another couple. In the way it was edited. Mm-hmm. So at first when I watched it, I was like, is this like a couple days later? But no, I looked back. They're wearing the same outfits. It's the same freaking day that they met his parents. So that same night, they're sitting there talking, drinking some wine or whatever. Later, I think she said it was a dirty martini.
Extremely dirty.
And he's like, you know, I love you so much. Like, we had a great time meeting my parents. He's talking about how good it went. And this girl says, yeah, you know, I was a little annoyed at you this morning. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
The thing about Chelsea is every time she does this, every time she starts an argument, she starts it in kind of like a positive tone. You know, it's extremely manipulative and it drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
She can never be direct and just be like, hey, you did something, it hurt me.
Yes. And the reason why I'm bringing up the fact that this was the same day that they met his parents is because she did this before. She did this when he met her friends. He meets her friends. The conversation goes like really well. Like I think he made a really good impression. He did a really good job. And then they leave. And that same day, she doesn't want to talk about the fact that it went well. She's like, so you didn't kiss me today?
Oh my God, you're so right.
She's talking about like what happened earlier that made her mad. Why didn't you talk about it earlier? Why did you wait for you guys to have a really nice relationship milestone moment for you to be negative? And she did it now. He's talking about how like, oh, I'm so happy you met my parents. I love you so much. And she's like, so about this morning. Shut up. Say something this morning.
She just lets it fester. And honestly, I think she should have just let it go for that night. And the next morning just like brought it up. You know? Like, and the way she brings it up is what just really...
Yeah, you're so right.
Because she's so aggravating.
Yes.
And can we talk about the questioning? The dumb questions she asks him. And when he answers them, he actually answers them.
Yes.
She moves on to another question.
She does.
Because she doesn't know how to respond.
She literally is like, she's constantly just like, who are you with? Who are you with? I'm always with you. I'm literally working from home. Who are you texting all the time? My friends, you know this. Like, he's like telling her. Yeah. And she's like, well, where were you? At the bar, like I told you, for an hour. Your friends saw me there. Like,
he's literally answering every question.
Answering everything.
And she doesn't acknowledge any of the answers.
Because it's not real. Like, I feel like in her mind, she's living in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, where she's the protagonist. Everything she says is right. Everything she says is real. All of her insecurities are his fault.
Right.
Every sadness, I'm not doubting that she feels these emotions, but she's not capable of looking inward and saying, I feel these because I feel these. She's saying, I feel these, therefore you hurt me.
Yeah.
And she's putting it on him when he's like, I literally, what did I do?
And she won't be direct.
No.
About it. Because, okay, like, I don't know if you noticed this, but she starts out by saying that she was insecure about, or she didn't even say that.
That's too direct.
That's too direct. She was sad because he went to the bar.
Yes.
All right. That's how it started off. Then it was about, oh, all of these other girls are at the bar and I'm not there. Then it was about Jess.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, out of nowhere.
Yes. So let's like recap a little bit. But basically what happened is he had gone to the bar the night before for his friend's birthday. Yeah.
For literally an hour and a half.
For an hour. First he said an hour and they agreed, and then he said an hour and a half. But like a very short amount of time. He said most of that time was spent driving. Yeah. Which, like, if you've ever driven in a city, that's exactly what happens. He had one drink to make an appearance for his friend, and then he left. Honestly, if I were his friend, I'd be like, I don't know how close they are, but I'd be like, why didn't you stay for longer? Exactly. Like, what the heck?
An hour and a half is nothing.
It's nothing. And he told her she could come. She said she didn't want to. She was already in bed. So, first of all, maybe she's not feeling well, whatever, but I am side-eyeing somebody who's in a new relationship and doesn't want to go out with their partner to meet their friends. Like, those are all moments that you're making impressions, moments that you're showing up for your partner, and you're saying, like, your friends are important to me. Like, I think it's weird that you wouldn't go with him to his friend's birthday party. Unless you're ill.
I mean, her excuse was basically that she just wanted a night in. Yeah. Which is fine, but okay, like, even if you did want that, even if you were really, really feeling like you needed to just, be inside for the night and you didn't want to go out, don't blame that on him. He invited you. He gave you every chance to show up with him. You didn't take it. Ridiculous. And then you're blaming him for it. It's so weird.
And then she's like, oh, yeah, so you were at the bar last night, and my friend Mackenzie was texting me and saying, your man's at the bar, where are you? Miss Mackenzie. I don't believe it. Oh, okay, okay, fair, actually. Maybe Chelsea's making that up. Maybe Chelsea's making up the way that Mackenzie texted her. Because if Mackenzie did say that, that's rude as hell. That's so rude to say, your man's at the bar, where are you?
I don't think she did.
Okay.
I think Chelsea takes everything way out of proportion.
That's fair.
I think she misquotes everything. She did it with Jimmy. We'll go into that in a bit. She does it all the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't
Maybe
believe it.
Mackenzie just was like, oh, Jimmy's here. Are you here?
Yeah.
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 Which I was actually, I take it back. All right, Mackenzie. Shading Mackenzie for no reason. You're so good.
We won't go in on her because we actually don't have the proof.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fair.
Poor Mackenzie's just like, it wasn't me.
And then, so it's like, okay, you're embarrassed that you're not there again. You didn't want to be there, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, who are you with? He says, you know who I was with. I was with my friend whose birthday it was, some of his buddies. And she's like, was your friend there? I forget his friend's name, but like one of his two good girlfriends.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, she was. Like, she always is.
And then he like starts naming his friends. He starts naming some of his friends. And she's like, I heard it was Jess.
Yeah, what about Jess? Jess was there. She doesn't say, was Jess there? Jess was there too. I heard it was Jess. And this man goes, Jess? Like, he was like, what? And where did you get, he was so incredulous.
Right? And you could tell just by his facial expression, he was not lying.
No.
You could just tell he was like flabbergasted that she would even come up with that.
Jessica! I felt so bad for him. That was crazy, Chelsea. That was crazy.
Insane. And I genuinely think she had it in her head that he was with Jess. She had no proof, but she had it in her head that he was with Jess and was completely fishing for that.
But I don't even think she thought he was with Jess because Mackenzie was there. And I feel like Mackenzie would have mentioned if Jess was also there.
Okay, also facts. That's
think I don't think she was on this plane of reality when she was speaking. To be honest, I think she was just looking for reasons to be pissed.
She was also drunk.
She was drunk, clearly. So then, they're also talking about, I don't want to gloss over this. They're talking about, like, she's like, you didn't say that this was the kind of person you were in the pods. Like, you didn't say you were the kind of person who would go out. And he's like, I did say that I like to go to a wine bar, a cocktail bar, have a drink, and get home at a decent hour.
He said it. He said
that. And she's like, well, I didn't know this is the kind of person you are. I didn't know this was who you are. If you're the kind of person, I don't want this. I don't want this life. You don't want this life. I'm sorry. You don't want me to go out for 1 hour?
That's crazy.
We are in our early 30s. Like, no.
That is crazy. And not to mention, you need time away from your partner.
You literally do. Like, she's literally acting like he's, like, out at the club until 3 a.m. No, he went to a bar with a couple friends for a birthday party.
Come on.
You don't want to be with that kind of person?
He did nothing. He really did nothing wrong.
No, that was
insane. And for me to take Jimmy's side, like, to get me to that point, Chelsea, like, girl.
No, I love Jimmy. I stand by Jimmy. Honestly, I just keep liking him more because I'm watching the way he's handling all of this bullshit, and I'm like, he is a better person than I, because I would have lost it.
I would have been gone. After that fight. That fight would have showed me everything.
That was so crazy.
It was insane.
And then Miss Chelsea starts talking about his friend. The Jess thing didn't work. She fished for Jess. It didn't work.
Yeah.
She starts talking about his one girlfriend. You fucked her. I know you fucked her. You told me. Okay. I would like to say that the whole you fucked her accusation doesn't hit quite as hard when he told you that. Like, now we're just repeating, like you're saying it. Like, it doesn't carry the weight of, like, I've caught you in a lie.
Yeah.
When I willingly disclose this information to make you feel more comfortable about something. It
actually just made her look really shitty because he told her not to bring that up.
Yes.
Because he brought his friend on this show, and she's in the public eye, and he didn't want to shame her or anything like that. You know,
that is so embarrassing. I feel so bad for him and his friend in that moment.
I mean, like, I don't think it's embarrassing for either of them. I think it's embarrassing for Chelsea.
I agree.
To bring that up and be like, oh no, I love her, but it makes me uncomfortable. And it's like, that's fine if it makes you uncomfortable. You should have told him, like a decent person. But also, on top of that,
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. In the pods.
Oh, I don't.
I got you. I knew you didn't know what I was going to say.
I'm so original.
Unreadable. In the pods. This is the thing about Chelsea in the pods. She was agreeable to everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know? None of this stuff came out in the pods. Whatever Jimmy said, she was like, oh, I'm cool with that. Oh, you have 2 girlfriends that you're best friends with? I have an ex that I'm best friends with. I totally get it. Oh, you like to go out a couple times, like with your friends to the bar? That's totally cool. I get it. Oh, like you're having feelings for Jess and you're like really broken up over her? I get it. I understand. Don't worry about it.
Yes, you can't be the cool girl if you're not actually the cool girl.
Yeah, she's not the cool girl. It was very pick-me of her because she was saying all of those things. So he would pick her, he would choose her. And when he did, then she was like, oh, I can't live up to this person, this persona that I put up in the pods.
Because you're not this girl. You're not Megan Fox. Like, you're not any of these things that you've portrayed yourself to be.
Exactly.
Which is probably why you're so damn insecure.
Yeah.
Do you actually love me? Do you actually love me? Yeah, because you're not the person you said you were. So it would be fair of him to feel some type of way about you.
Exactly.
And have maybe a slightly hard time, like, processing this whole new person that he's with.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
I also felt so bad for Jimmy, like, on that note, with all of Chelsea's fucking confrontation. Because we can say what you want about Jimmy not wanting a confrontational woman, right? I think that, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
But he said that he doesn't want that kind of person.
Right.
Like, that's not the kind of relationship that he wants. That's not the kind of person he is. That was what turned him off from Jessica, was the fact, and he explicitly said that, the fact that they had those kinds of fights, and he did not like the way she handled confrontation. And he said, after I had that fight with Jessica, I went back in there with Chelsea. She was so agreeable. She was so this. She was so that. That is literally the reason that he picked her, is because he wanted someone soothing, calming. And then she's the exact opposite of that.
Opposite. You're so right about that.
Damn.
Like,
that
he was
sucks.
super blindsided. And on top of that, I give props to Jimmy for this. He was still fighting for her. Knowing this about her, I genuinely think that he loved or loves her.
I agree.
You know, enough to, like,
loves her.
Yeah, like, that really was shocking to me. I wasn't expecting that at all. So props to him, but oh my God, like, he doesn't deserve this.
No, he doesn't.
No.
Yeah, no, I do believe that Jimmy genuinely loves her. And I feel so bad for him, especially because something that Chelsea keeps doing is constantly question Jimmy on whether or not he loves her.
Yeah.
And there is nothing more frustrating than literally both showing and telling exactly how you feel about somebody for them to question that.
Yeah.
Like, he is constantly, we see him always initiating, love you, love you, love you, I love you, I love you, baby, I love you so much. Constantly. Yeah. And then this shit happens, and she literally says to him, I have it written down. No, he says, do you think I'm full of shit every time I tell you how I feel? And she says, I do. And that is what sends him over the edge. And that is why he's, like, ready to leave that night. Because he's like, I am literally constantly telling you that I love you, and you think I'm lying? Like, how do you prove yourself to someone like that, who's constantly moving the goalpost? Like, what do you do?
You really can. And I understand his frustration completely. That's such a tough position to be put in. Because he really is. Like, I at first thought that he was overcompensating, but I think Jimmy was actually in tune with Chelsea enough to know that she has certain insecurities, and to try to kind of expel those insecurities. He was trying to affirm her more and more, which he did a really good job at, to be honest. But she just didn't believe any of it. And it's like, what are you supposed to do with that? Yeah. And he didn't, his actions also lived up to his words. He never really did anything wrong that we know of, at least. So that, like, I totally get it. And did you notice every time Chelsea, at the end of an argument, after Jimmy has already answered every single question that she has randomly thrown at him, she has no more questions, she has nowhere to go, she starts crying, and she said, it just made me really sad.
Yes. Okay. Good for you. I'm sorry that you're sad. Like, I know it's like not a great way to apologize, to be like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but like genuinely, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but it's not me. Like in this.
That's what I'm saying. Like in this situation, I wouldn't even be mad at Jimmy if he was like,
yeah,
that's a you problem.
Literally a you problem.
Like, you need to fix that.
The way she drives me crazy. She needs therapy so bad.
Girl, like her whining. It's
a lot. It's a lot.
I cannot. Oh, stop.
It's so much.
Like maybe I would even understand her frustration at the girl best friend thing, because
she didn't get to be frustrated because of her friend.
She doesn't get to be frustrated because she's best friends with her ex.
Don't tell me they didn't sleep together.
You probably slept more with him than he slept with.
A one night thing is completely different than a relationship with feelings involved.
Like, okay, to be fair, if she didn't have that friendship, and she set that boundary in the pods, where she was like, because he told her in the pod, he was open and honest with her. If he told her that and she was like, I don't know if I'm fully comfortable with that. I don't personally have any significant or like past significant others around me, that are close. So I don't know if I'll be I don't know if I'll be comfortable with my partner having that. Yeah. That's a different thing, right?
That's fair.
Like, you would give him a chance to then be like, well...
And you can set boundaries with him. Like, you could say, again, if you say this from the beginning and not just say, like, yeah, I'm cool with that. But, like, you could set boundaries, like, I don't feel comfortable with you, like, maybe spending time alone with her. Like, I prefer y'all hanging out in a group settings, or, like, me hang out with her. Or... let me have some one-on-one time with her. Right. But I don't think in any situation, if this is someone that you're serious about and this is their best friend, unfortunately, I'm sorry if this makes you insecure, but you do have to take them at their word. Like, you do have to believe them, because you cannot go in there, go into a relationship and say, change up your friends. Exactly. Like, you just can't. Like, she's in his life for a reason.
That's not fair. Like, you accepted it. You accepted it in the pods with open arms. Okay, you can't just turn that back on him. That's not fair. And maybe it's because before or during the pods he didn't tell her that they had sex. That might have like raised a new insecurity in her, but again, she doesn't get to do that when she's best friends with her ex. She just does not have the right to do that.
No way in hell. No. That's insane. That's literally insane. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a mess. Jimmy rightfully is extremely upset and hurt by this. I feel so bad for him. The next day, I don't know if it was clear. He didn't leave, right?
He didn't leave. He stayed. I think she left, no?
I'm not sure. I guess we're not clued in on that. I assume he like slept on the couch or something. Yeah. Because the next morning we see them kind of like just like tense in a room. And he basically sounds like he's ready to be done. Yeah. Like, he sounds like he's delivering a breakup speech. Absolutely. He says, like, it really makes me question your judgment when you say that I don't love you, when I know for a fact that I'm giving you all of this love. Like, that really makes me question your judgment. Right. And she basically says, I'm sorry, I messed up. That's the extent of her apology. That's it. Just that. And then goes immediately into, and again, I wrote this down, for you to just throw in the towel after having a bad night just because we had a hiccup. When things get tough, I need to know that you're not going to walk away from me. God damn it, Chelsea. That made me so mad.
She missed all of it.
Okay, first of all, a hiccup? That was a hiccup? That was not.
You said relationship ending things.
That was not a hiccup. And the way she twists it around, when things get tough, I need to know that you're not going to walk away from me. Right. You were the one who was saying, that's not the kind of person that I want to be with. When things get tough, you're not going to walk away from me? Shut up. And I'm so sorry to say that it worked on him. Because he's not yet immune to her crying. He's still early enough in his love for her that he loves her and maybe doesn't see the manipulation. And he sees a person who he loves crying, and that'll do it for him. And he wants to make her feel better, and he wants to love on her. But that's not going to last forever. I'm just going to say it. Like,
it's not.
It's going to get to a point where he realizes, like, Chelsea, you can't just fucking cry every time.
Like, you're right. I think he does realize that. But again, his emotions are getting the better of him. Like, he has a soft spot for her still. I just wish he caught on to what she was saying and that she was essentially still blaming everything on him.
Yeah.
She was saying sorry, but she wasn't describing why she was sorry. Mm-hmm. She was describing, oh, like, we're going to have issues like this. You can't walk away from me. No, he should. She has some major issues. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with such a bad insecure attachment style.
It goes so beyond just like, oh, I have some insecurities. Like, it's so much more than that.
It's bad. Yeah. It's really, really bad. Like, you cannot expect to be in a healthy relationship with that kind of attachment style. Like,
no. You need to work on yourself first, period. So like, bad. That is one of those things where you really... Someone is not going to fix this for you.
No. Yeah.
At all. My gosh. So then, another couple with some issues.
Yeah.
Clay and AD. Let's talk about them for a bit. Okay. Clay and AD meet AD's mom. Mm-hmm. We learn at the beginning of this, before Clay shows up, AD and her mom are talking, and we find out that, the night before, AD set up like a fun activity date night for them with like his favorite snacks. And it's still sitting on the kitchen island because someone didn't come home last night.
That is such a red flag. Like, okay, AD, baby. Like, what are you not getting here? He's not coming home.
I feel so bad for AD, though, because we'll talk about her mom in a second. She meant well, I think. But these women in her life who I think she wants to look up to and who she would normally look up to are steering her wrong in this. I'm sorry.
They're enabling her.
Clay's mom steered her wrong when she met him. AD brought up... I still think it's weird to bring up this kind of shit when you're meeting people's parents for the first time. But AD brought up with Clay's mom last episode the fact that Clay is not coming home at night.
Yeah.
And I think she brought it up thinking that, she had been through long-standing infidelity. She is going to talk some sense into her son and say, Clay, you need to come home. And she basically said, Clay, you do need to, like, compromise and do this, but AD, you got to give him grace.
Oh, my God.
So AD hears that, and she's like, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm not giving enough grace. And then her mom, too. Her mom is not helping her out either.
Okay, let's talk about the mom for a second. Because, I'm sorry, the moment she saw Clay, she was like, oh, that's a man.
She thought he was so sexy.
She thought it was so
She literally
fun.
was, like, pushing her hair back, her face. I was like, girl.
She couldn't hide it. But that's also such an issue because she chalked up him being a man. She literally said that, oh, he's a man. He's
based
a real
on
man.
The fact that he looks good and talks good. Like
what do you mean by that? He's not coming home to his fiance.
No. If I told my mom that, and my mom and I have our issues.
Yeah.
If I told my mom that, hey, Mom, I want you to meet my boyfriend, my fiance. He didn't come home last night to our date night, but he's a great guy.
Right then and there,
it's over immediately. It's literally over. My mom's like, I don't want to meet him.
Yeah, exactly.
Go, get out of here.
What are you doing? Why are you accepting this from a guy? Like, crazy. That's the kind of talk that we're gonna get from our moms.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm so sad for AD.
I feel bad for her in this. Like, I don't even blame her for overlooking this because, again, the people who she's looking up to are telling her to overlook it. They're basically telling her, like, almost like you're asking too much. Like, don't let, like, you looking for perfection lead you away from this man, basically.
Yeah, it's all very delulu.
That.
Yeah. Like, the whole time, her mom was like, this can work. You just need to put in the work. It's like, she's putting in the work.
Yes.
Where's his work? What is he doing?
Ridiculous. So, Clay shows up. Mm-hmm. He got a fresh haircut. He didn't have time to come home, but he had time to get a fresh haircut. I would like to note that he did not bring her mom any flowers, even though when AD met his mom, she brought flowers, and his mom brought AD flowers. Yeah. So clearly he was raised right. He didn't bring flowers. He didn't do any of that. What? He just walked in. I got a haircut. You like it?
Just no effort for him. We're getting nothing from him. Nothing.
He's talking. He's giving his little spiel about who he is. I do this. This is what I do for work. Blah, 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 blah. He says, and I wrote this down too, I struggle with a lot of stuff with my parents' relationship. I never went to therapy. So she cuts him off to say, but why do you say your parents' relationship? And then goes on a whole thing of you said your parents were together for 24 years. There were a lot of good times in there. There were a lot of good things that they, worked through. That's a victory. That's good. Don't take on your parents' stuff.
All right. What kind of logic is that? I got so pissed off when I heard that.
That made me so mad. She meant well. And I heard what she was saying. And actually, to hear that from your mom, from AD's perspective, to hear your mom say that is actually really healing. To say, don't let the mistakes that your parents, i.e. me, made affect you in your life. That's our shit. You carve your own path. That is actually super healing.
Yes.
But she doesn't know Clay.
Yeah.
Clay's parents' relationship didn't just end in divorce because they weren't compatible. Clay's dad cheated on his mom for years, decades, and brought Clay with him, and Clay had to lie to his mom about what was happening.
Traumatizing stuff.
So traumatic. That's not his parents' issue anymore now. That's his issue, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That is his issue, and it absolutely makes sense why it affects him.
Yeah.
I don't blame Clay at all for being affected by that. I can blame him for going on a show that was supposed to end in marriage when he's clearly not ready for that. But yeah, he's affected, and he's saying it out loud. He's not lying. He's saying, I don't think I'm ready for this. I need therapy.
That's the thing. Clay is very, very honest, very self-aware, which is great. Mm-hmm. Remove yourself from the situation. Mm-hmm. Go home, go to therapy, fix yourself before you get into another relationship, Yeah. And I think that's the thing that he's kind of battling with right now. I think he knows it too. He knows, he said it. He's not fully ready for it.
No, he's saying it, and everyone just wants to tell him, that's not your issue. That's your parents' issue. What are you so afraid of? You're fine. You're ready. And he's like, I'm not. And to be honest, if I were Clay, I would be I feel like they're kind of gaslighting him. He's
I'm ready. It's okay. Bad advice to both AD and Clay.
Yes.
Both of them are getting the rough end of the stick. Mm-hmm. It's not going to work because of that. Because she's going to keep giving and he's going to keep taking.
Yeah, they're basically doomed to repeat the dynamics of both of their parents' relationships, which ended badly.
Exactly.
Made me so mad. Similarly, we didn't talk about this last episode, but when they met Clay's mom, when that whole thing was happening, and she was like, you got to give grace. My husband and I, same exact freaking logic. We were together for 24 years. It didn't end well, but we had a good run. We worked through a lot of challenges. No, you didn't. I'm so sorry. I know that you don't want to talk about your infidelity on TV. Sorry, your son already did it for you. But,
in details.
Don't be here preaching about how to make a marriage work when you suffered.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I don't think people who have gone through really long marriages like that, where there were serious, really bad issues, should be giving marriage advice. No. Other than, don't repeat this mistake.
Yes. See the red flags earlier than I did.
Yes, leave. Exactly. That is good advice. Don't be no, we were together for 25 years though. Here's what you should do.
Yeah, it's okay to suffer as long as you do it for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Because the good times are worth it. As long as you
don't give up. Bro, that was crazy. I feel so bad for AD. I think that AD and her mom are just so caught up in Clay's potential.
Also, just the way he looks.
The way he looks. The way he acts. I think he's a funny, charismatic. He seems like a sweet guy in all of their dates. I'm going to put aside the thing where he talks about her body and the way she should lose weight if she ever gets pregnant. Blip, blip. Except for that, he seemed like a very great guy.
Yeah.
And I think that, especially like a guy who's in tune with his emotions for the first time ever, but currently in tune with his emotions, like, I think that I genuinely believe Clay will be a great husband one day. It seems like that's what he wants to be.
No, absolutely. I fully believe that. It's just not his time yet, and that's okay. He needs to do his... But also, AD, my girl, she also needs therapy. She needs to get better advice.
Yeah, and she is the one who was saying in episode 1 in the pods, I'm a fix-a-hoe.
Yeah.
If I see a red flag, I paint my nails red to match. Like...
And you're doing it again. It's the same cycle.
Patterns on patterns on patterns. Clay is the only one who's at least talking about breaking patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So after that, they fill out their marriage license online. They're talking about the wedding. Clay says, I don't ever want to be in a situation where I could cheat. Talking about how the wedding date freaks him out. Like the fact that the date is looming. He's like, why do we have to have this date? Like, why can't we just love each other? I will say, that got me thinking the way he said that. He's talking about, right, being afraid of a wedding, and I don't want to be in a situation where I could cheat. Does he not consider cheating in a relationship cheating unless if they're your spouse? Because you're in a situation where you could cheat right now. I mean, you could walk out the door and cheat right now. Is it only cheating if we're married?
Oh.
That's how I took that. And I was like, Mr. Clayton.
Oof. You know what? I remember having a similar thought. Not this time around, but from the last batch of episodes. He said something. I don't remember exactly what it was right now, but he did say something where I was like,
Yeah.
That's a little weird. Like,
yeah. It's giving the energy of like cheating on a girlfriend is one thing, but cheating on a spouse is different. Which, I mean, no, I'm not going to validate that. No. I mean, I think cheating on a spouse is like, no, they're both bad. They're both bad.
It's both the same to me.
Yeah, they're both awful. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can do one,
you just made a legal commitment in one of them, but you're committed in both.
Exactly.
Period. But yeah. So she basically...
Oh my God, yeah. That is so weird. He wants to push off that date because it's like, oh, at least I have some grace cheating on you as my fiance.
Exactly. That's how I took that.
But as my wife, no.
Yeah.
that would make me really bad.
Yes.
This is crazy.
And what I wish AD would ask him, like when he says, I don't ever want to be in a situation in which I could cheat. I want her to ask, like, what is going through your mind? Like, are you, like, genuinely, what are the thoughts that you're having? Like, why do you think that you could cheat? Just other than the fact that your dad did it.
Yeah.
What, like, is it that you are genuinely walking around, you're in the gym, you're seeing women, and you're like, oh my God, that's the one. Oh my God, I can't control myself. Like, I'm just going to walk over it. Like, is it that? Because if it's just your dad, we can work on that. We can therapy.
Right.
But if it's the other where you are genuinely, the temptation is so strong that you don't know if you personally will be able to stop yourself.
Yeah.
That's different. I can't deal with that.
That's an issue. Yeah. That's a huge issue. That's so true. So, okay, what I really wanted AD to ask was, Clay, have you ever cheated in past relationships? How many times and how many relationships? That's going to give you a really great idea of what he's going to do to you, especially if it's, within a year or two.
Can I be honest? I don't think I don't think Clay has ever been in a relationship. Because, not that we've ever heard him say that. We haven't heard him say either direction, an answer. But he says, and this was my biggest red flag for Clay, he says, I did this experiment to see if I could fall in love. I have. So he didn't come onto this show about marriage wanting to get married. He just wanted to see if he could fall in love. You could do that outside of here.
Clay.
Like, you didn't even know you were that far away from monogamy that we didn't even know if we could fall in love.
He didn't say fall in love without seeing someone. He didn't say that.
He said, I did this wanting to know if I could fall in love, and now I have my answer.
Oh my God. I didn't catch that.
Yes.
Bro.
I don't think he's ever been in a relationship, to be honest.
That's rough. Or, I mean, to be fair, he could have been in relationships, but never really fallen in love, which is difficult.
Yeah.
I think, to do. Anyway, yeah, Clay, this was not the right moment for you.
It's not. But AD is, she basically just says, if you say no, it's no, I'm not going to date you and I'm not going to be a long-term fiance. Mm-hmm. But,
at least she said that.
At least she said that.
Well, I don't know if she'll live up to it.
Although I feel like that's actually the wrong answer in this case. Like, I feel like you can't call yourself a long-term fiance when you're comparing it to a 4-week-long process. Like, a long engagement is, like, years.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, I think if he said no, you would have to agree on it ahead of time. He wouldn't be able to blindside you.
Right.
And I think you could set parameters for, like, we're still engaged. We're not going back to dating. We're still engaged. And we're going to aim for October. But, like, I feel like if the whole thing is that we need to get Clay in therapy stat before we do anything else, then, like, I actually think it is okay to do that before you get married. I don't think he's ready to get married right now.
He's definitely not ready, but I do understand what AD was saying. Yeah. As a long-term fiance, she's saying, like, I don't want to be a fiance for a year or two, which is, I would say that's the usual timeline for a normal relationship, right? A year, 2 years, 3 years, right? She's saying, like, I don't want that. Yeah. Which I fully agree with, to be honest. I wouldn't want that either. I wouldn't want to be a fiance for a year or 2 years.
Yeah, but that's realistically what happens.
They're, like,
that's how it happens, like, almost to everyone. Like, at least a year. People plan, it takes at least a year to plan a wedding in most circumstances.
That's true.
So, like, if she says,
no, see, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to be planning that wedding. They're not going to be getting ready to get married during that year. They're just going to play out being boyfriend and girlfriend. That's what she's meaning. I think that's what she's saying. She's like, I don't want to be a long-term fiance. Meaning, like, I'm just a girlfriend to you. Yeah. During this time.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah. No, I don't blame AD for saying that, but I do think that, like, for me, if you still know that you love this man and you want to work towards something with him, I would think that would be preferable to committing to a marriage before you have all your answers.
That's
before
fair.
He has all of his answers.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah.
But that's just not the premise of the show.
No, it's not. It's like, ridiculous for him to have come on here.
That's the thing. Like, in the real world, sure. I completely agree with that. That is not the premise of Love is Blind.
That's so true.
The point is to get married or not get married.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Clay, what are you doing on this show? Again, I don't think you're a bad guy. But I will always believe that, like, you can be a good person and be a red flag in a relationship. Like, I truly have nothing bad to say about Clay. Like, I think he's probably a great friend. I think he will be a great partner to someone one day, but my God, the red flags in this moment are strong. No,
I fully agree with you on that one.
The only other thing that happens pre-pool party, PPP, we have PPP, PP, and then PPP.
Oof.
Pre-pool party, post-pool party. Anyway, we'll workshop it. But the last thing in this era is Johnny and Amy meeting Amy's dad. Right. Not much to say here. He was really sweet. Amy's dad.
Honestly, not much to say. I don't have any...
Yeah. I thought he was going to give them a hard time because Amy was like, my dad, I don't know if I'm going to be able to marry you without his blessing. But he was really sweet. He was just like, Amy, I love you. You're the best person I know. Yes, you have my blessing.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. I really like her parents a lot.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. PP.
This is explicit for a reason.
Let's talk about that pool party.
Pre-PP, PP, post-PP.
So, the main T of the PP that is on everyone's lips
see what you did there,
is Laura, Jeremy, and Sarah Ann. I would like to say that back in the first recap that we did of Love is Blind on this podcast, there was a moment where we were talking about the pods, and in the interest of time, Fatima said something like, yeah, so we have Laura, Jeremy, and Sarah Ann, who's honestly irrelevant, so we don't need to talk about her. And then I cut that out while editing because I thought that was mean, and Sarah Ann didn't deserve that.
How dare you?
She deserved it.
I knew it.
She's not irrelevant, unfortunately. She's very relevant, but she deserved
but
all
her
the
presence to me is irrelevant.
I love that.
You get me?
I love that.
Ho. Sorry. I rarely say stuff like that about women. Okay.
Yeah.
Rarely.
Yeah.
But this is one of those situations where it's like, ho, actually.
She's awful. She's fully terrible.
She's so bad.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So we learned very quickly from Laura, Jeremy hasn't shown up yet. But we learned from Laura that she hasn't been speaking to Jeremy since everything went down. He's tried to text her, send her flowers, but, she just hasn't engaged at all. Yeah. So he's been trying to like text her, send her flowers. And, the only thing that she's really responded is, wow, it sucks how your name changed from Jeremy to, wow, it sucks how your name changed from fiance to Jeremy in my phone.
Okay, so I don't even like Laura, but I have to say, this episode, I gained a lot of respect for her.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. I think she handled the situation pretty well. Yeah. I think she handled it well.
What I have to say about Laura is that I don't excuse anything that Jeremy's done. I would like to say this. Like, the only thing I excuse of Jeremy's is him deciding that he didn't want to be with Laura anymore.
Yeah,
but
that's
because
fine.
Laura treated him really badly.
Poorly, yeah.
But he should have just literally said, Laura, I don't want to be with you anymore, and then gone and did his thing with Sarah Ann, a la Zach, Bliss, Irina last season, or however many seasons ago. Like, that would have been totally fine. No one would have given him shit for that. Yeah. But, so I will say, like, all that to say, like, I don't like Laura. Like, I don't think she was good in that relationship. I don't have context for her in her other relationships, but at least in this relationship, I thought she was mean. I thought she was condescending. I thought she was belittling. I don't think Jeremy deserved any better from her in her responses. But her responses to him via text or lack of responses were very much giving, I don't want to be with you anymore. So I did think it was a little bit weird that later when they were arguing or fighting, they weren't even arguing. He didn't give a fuck. But later when they were talking and he was making it clear of like, yeah, I don't really want to be here. Like, we're done. She was kind of like, oh, wow, that's it? We're done? Like, and he was talking about like, yeah, I've already packed up your stuff. Oh, you packed up my stuff? Oh, you just ended your engagement. You're not even sad about it. And my only thought there is like, Laura, I need you to be slightly less cold in general. Like, if you were not done with him initially after the Sarah Ann thing, if there was room in your brain that you wanted to like talk through something, you needed to have done that. Because you can't always be saying, like, you suck, I hate you, don't do this, wow, sucks that I changed your name in my phone, and then expect the other person to be coming back with something.
To be fair, I don't think that was the case. I think it was done for her.
Okay. If it was done for her, then that's fine.
No, I think it was. I think she was just also at the same time still shocked at how he was dealing with the situation. Because, yeah, you can be done with someone and still be shocked at how they're treating you. Because that's Jeremy, fair. The things that he was saying is, again, being so nonchalant about, oh, I packed your stuff. That would be so offensive to me. Like, oh, you packed my stuff already?
For sure.
Just like that, like, even if I'm done, I'll still be like, wow, that's so callous of you. Yeah. I really don't think that she wanted anything to do with him anymore. Okay. I think she was done, but it still hurt, which I think is fair. Yeah.
That's fair. The way I saw it was like, I thought that she was not done yet, but wanted to seem done, and was maybe hoping that like at the pool party he would like grovel a little bit, and then she'd be like, I'm still angry at you, but like maybe we can, like, I feel like she's the kind of person who like wants to like bite and bite and bite and bite, and like wants the person to be like, I'm sorry.
I think you're definitely right about that. And it did show in a lot of interactions between them that is the dynamic that she wants, right? But in this situation, to the extent that it got to, I don't think that was her intention. Okay. I think she was very much just done.
I can believe that, which, to be fair, like, to clarify, it's totally fine for her to have been done. Right. He sucks. Like, he sucks. Like, she's allowed to be done with this. I just want her to, like, be clear about her own intention. So, yeah, if she's done and she's acting like this, that's all fair.
No, I think she was, and I think she was just hurt. Like, even for the interview part, right? She's like, I don't like what Sarah Ann did, but she didn't make the commitment to me. He did. He made a commitment to me. He was supposed to protect my heart, and he didn't. Yeah. And you can see that she was really broken up about it, but that to me showed like she wasn't willing to get back with him after what he did. Yeah. Yeah.
Another moment that also had me side-eyeing Laura, again, I can empathize with her pain in this situation, but it can't make me like her.
Right. Yeah, of course.
When they were at the pool party and, you know, she's talking to Jessica, and Jessica's like, oh my God, I just saw Jimmy. He's so nervous. I can't even look at him. Like, not you sitting there encouraging your friend to have feelings for an engaged man when this just all happened to you.
It's
like,
very
you
hypocritical.
need to bring the same energy for everyone.
It's very hypocritical. She also did it at the bar when she was talking to Jess.
Yes.
It's only bad when it happens to you, but it's not bad when it happens to another woman.
I hated that.
Like, you're not thinking about Chelsea at all when you're saying all of these things.
Yes. I did not like that at all. Like, you're not seeing Laura say, like, oh, go talk to him, but she's very much, like, leaning into, like, the gossip, like, how are you feeling? Right. What do you think? Is he cute? Like,
in, like, a very positive way, which it's not positive.
You know.
I completely agree with you on that. Again, I don't like Laura. Yeah. I don't like her. I don't like her personality. I think she has a lot of growing up to do. And I think she needs to stop being racist. But yes. But I do have some respect for the way that she at least handled that situation. It could have been much worse. The way Jeremy was acting.
Yeah. No, none of this is
personally, I think any sane woman would have almost killed him.
Oh my God, absolutely. When she was like, go kick rocks without shoes on, I was like, absolutely, that and more. Like, no, he sucks. Like, I want to, like, that is, everything I've said is all I'm going to say about Laura, because from here on out, I would just like to slander Jeremy's name.
Can we please start on that?
Yes. Yo, fuck this guy. Honestly, when he first walks in and then he sees Laura, he literally said, great, Laura's here, just the person I didn't want to see. Shut up. That you are still technically engaged to this person.
Okay, did you catch the part where he was talking? This part really, like, I have so much more respect for Jimmy because of this part.
Okay, wait, what happened?
When he was talking with Jimmy, and I think it was Johnny? Was it Johnny?
Maybe. I don't remember.
He was talking to two of the guys, right? And he was like explaining a situation, and Jimmy was like, well, you know, I came across a certain situation like this with Chelsea, but I realized that there was something worth fighting for.
Oh, yes.
And then Jeremy was like, not here. And then Jimmy was like, oh, okay. And both of Jimmy and Johnny, I think it was Johnny, it might have been another man, but they were both like kind of checked out of that conversation. Yes. They did not want to engage. And later you hear them talk, and then Jimmy was like, yeah, I really didn't want to talk to Jeremy.
My God. They did not want to be associated.
I was like, damn, like,
love
good
that.
For you. Yes. Good for you. Because usually I would think that guys would be like, oh yeah, like, well, like, you're so right. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. No. Jimmy was like, I'm not having it. And even Johnny was like, no, that situation made me uncomfortable. And I loved that for them.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that makes me happy. Good for them. Yeah. Also, you know, Jeremy's a little shit stirrer. Back when he's the one who freaking sent Jimmy Jessica's photo, the first one was like, look at her. I bet you, like, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, they all have a group chat or something. Like, they're texting their buddies.
Yeah.
Now, with this context, I'm like, I bet you they don't even talk. And Jeremy just sent this.
Probably.
Say, what? Bro, why are you texting me?
Yeah. No, that's so true. Jeremy is that type of person.
Oh
and
my gosh.
The fact that even his boys don't want to associate with him.
Yeah, well, they're like, we are not your boys.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're not your boys. Crazy.
Ugh, gross. Can we talk about how when Laura and Jimmy fight, first of all, the way that she is standing over him.
Wait, do you mean Laura and Jeremy?
Yeah, sorry. All the J's. When Laura and Jeremy fight, she's like standing over him.
She did not want to sit next to him. She did not
want to sit down. And he's just so fucking checked out of this whole conversation. Yeah. And like acting like she's being like unreasonable. She's not being unreasonable at all. And then he says, okay, well, like, can we just get along for today and like have a good time because our friends are here so we can enjoy the pool party? And she literally said, your engagement just ended. Why do you care what other people think right now? Why do you care about enjoying this pool party?
That's what I'm saying when I'm saying that it's offensive. It's just offensive. Yeah. Like, regardless of whether she was done or not.
Agree.
It's just offensive.
Agree.
Like, anyone would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
No, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, AD and Sarah Ann are talking. This was a masterclass in like mean girl politics, like not mean girl, like popular girl politics.
Yes.
Like, you know that like AD has this like cheerleader, like sorority girl background. Yeah. And she knows how to talk.
She just knows how to work it.
Oh my God. The way that it looked like they were just like having a friendly conversation. Yeah. I was like, girl, what did he say? And then it turned into like an interrogation. And then it turned into like this passive aggressiveness. I was like, yeah. AD knows exactly the information she wants to extract from Sarah Ann. And she is doing it. And Sarah Ann is none the wiser.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. She played that so well.
Beautiful.
She went in acting like a friend. Yeah. Acting like, oh, you can open up to me. You can tell me everything. Oh she gets all that information. She's like, fuck you. I'm going to bring you down now.
That was crazy.
She throws it back at her immediately. Yes. And I loved that.
And every time Sarah Ann is like, well, you know, I don't think that it was like, I don't think I said this. AD's like, I saw the DM, but okay, keep going. Yeah. She's like, I did see the DM. Yeah, but
she said it multiple times. She's
continue.
Like, I saw the DM. I saw the message. And the way she said it too was just like so classy. And,
oh my God.
She kept it so cute. One thing I want to touch on in their conversation was when Sarah Ann said, yeah, that night he told me that he was ready to leave Laura.
Yeah.
But you're sending her flowers? Like,
yeah,
Jeremy's
so
sending
true.
her flowers after?
He is just a little shit. He said that he wanted to leave Laura. And I love that Sarah Ann, in this conversation with AD, she starts by saying, like, you know, we saw each other that night, but I never crossed the line, kept it really respectful.
I don't believe any of that.
And then I do, even, like, let's say that they didn't do anything physical. They didn't even kiss. Okay. They just talked. Okay. But, like, the fact that you're having a conversation about him leaving his partner for you, that's crossing a line. Like, we don't see that as crossing a line. I see that as crossing a line.
Absolutely. And she, like, her excuse is that, oh, I had real feelings in this too. I was in love, blah, blah, blah. They're engaged.
I know.
Period.
I don't care if it's like
care about your feelings.
An experiment or not. You absolutely do have feelings. Like, I get it.
That's
like,
okay.
Even Jessica, who I don't like, has feelings for Jimmy. Clearly, I don't like her. I can understand her having feelings. Yeah. But, like, you know, this is a TV show. You know that there's going to be a point where you all meet up. Yeah. And you get a chance to, like, go to a state-sanctioned event where you see them and talk it out and be like, hey, I felt this way. It really hurt me when this happened, you know, but, like, I wish you well or whatever. Or you find out in that moment, like, shit, they're not doing well. Like, or shit, it looks like they actually broke up.
Right.
That's, you know, like, hey,
that's your window.
You're single, I'm single.
Exactly. Not while he's engaged to someone. Like, it. But, you know what? Sarah Ann, she's also getting lied to by this man. Like, immediately, right?
Oh, yeah.
He literally told her, oh, like, I'm ready to leave Laura. Yeah. For you, blah, 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 right? And then he's sending Laura flowers, trying to get her back.
Yeah.
He wasn't ready to leave her. No.
No, he
You're
wasn't.
you're literally a second choice. You're what he chooses when his first relationship with Laura failed.
If he told you in the pods, that his connection with you is more sexual, when he hasn't even seen you,
Yep.
you're not the first choice, babe.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You're not the first choice. He literally said he did not have an emotional connection with you.
And he said that, like, there wasn't any specific reason why he didn't choose you. He just felt a stronger connection with someone else. Girl,
You are not
that's
the first
enough.
choice. Like, I'm sorry.
But
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
But that's what she doesn't care. She just wants to be picked. She's another pick-me.
She is.
She just wants to be
is.
picked.
And freaking Jeremy is already manipulating her. He's told her apparently in their secret nighttime conversation that, you know, if in the pods when he broke up with her, she had fought back, maybe that would have changed things for him.
Which it wouldn't have.
It would not
He
have.
knows it wouldn't have.
Like, why are you... Oh, God.
Why are
like,
you
now
putting
it's,
that on her?
But not only wouldn't have changed things for her, but now it's her fault.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
you guys didn't end up together because she didn't fight hard enough.
Exactly. He flipped it on her.
So
But you know what?
gross.
Like, I don't even care. I don't even care because she deserves that. He deserves that.
Yeah.
They deserve each other. I think they're going to have a... You know what? I'm not even going to speak on it. But that relationship is just icky. Something built off of something icky like that is just going to end up icky.
Well, they're
in
both
my opinion.
narcissists. They can have each other. I mean, she, after this conversation with AD, is crying and she's like, let's go. And they leave.
Yeah.
And she's crying, walking down the dock, like, they can all go fuck themselves. Like, she's so mad.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
Sorry. The way she was talking, like, it was crazy to watch someone build their narrative in real time, like, out loud. Like, it was like
Right?
a supervillain looking in the mirror and, like, telling the story that they're going to tell. Like, it was so crazy. It actually reminded me of Matthew in the pods. Like, America loves an underdog.
Oh my
like,
God.
no,
Yeah.
literally, we're watching her
Yeah.
construct this in real time. I wrote some of it down. She says, I was as much a part of this as anyone else. My feelings matter too. No, you weren't as much a part of this as anyone else. You were a part of the experience up to the pods. You didn't get engaged. I'm so sorry, babe. You didn't get chosen. You are no longer a part of this. Like, it's like, you're part of a race.
Yeah.
And you don't get first place.
Yeah.
But you want to have a piece of the trophy.
Right.
No, it doesn't belong to you. Like, you're not a part of this anymore.
Great
you can
analogy,
feel sad
by
about that.
the way.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
You can feel sad about that, but like, it's not yours.
Yeah. I
That
agree
made me
completely.
so mad. She says, she's talking herself into it. She's like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to apologize. That's life, and it's messy, and it's beautiful, and that's how you find love.
What a weirdo.
I was like, is this the Notebook? What is going on?
God.
What
And
are we...
And do you find love by homewrecking? Like,
Bro,
is that
she
your
went on a
solution to
whole
it?
tirade about, like, this is, I'm a person, and I deserve... I'm like, shut up, girl.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like, she tried to be the victim so hard. And then Jeremy was there like, yeah, you shouldn't say sorry. He's just agreeing with everything he's saying.
Yeah.
Of course, because you want to get in her pants. Like, it's really that simple.
At one
and she's
point-
just here like, yeah.
Yeah. At one point, she says, in my opinion, I thought it was a well thought out message. I didn't think it was bad. Did you? And he says, no, I didn't think it was bad.
Like,
you
obviously.
liar, because if you didn't think it was bad, why did you run and show Laura this message
Right.
for proof that, like, you see, this girl's trying to get in, but, like, I didn't do anything about it because I'm a good boy.
So you're so right. He obviously did know that it was scandalous for her to send that DM.
Yeah.
But see, he's switching it up. He's a fucking liar
I hate
through
this man.
and through.
I'm so sad that we ever liked him.
I
I
didn't.
hate him. No, you
I
did.
didn't.
Literally said, we have it on tape.
Oh, you know what?
I think Jeremy has the best
You're right.
personality
I'm
out of
so
any
sorry.
of these men.
I might have said that, but didn't I say
No.
that? I didn't say any. Okay. Well, I
That's
did
okay,
have.
but that's
No.
okay.
The thing
I
is, like,
didn't
I still agree
know
with
either.
that. I still agree with the personality thing. I think he's very personable. I think he's funny. I think all of those things are still true.
Yeah.
No, but definitely after his actions, there's no going back from that.
100%.
No going back from that.
So then they jet ski. Not them acting like this is a one-on-one date. Like, they're literally acting like Laura can't fucking see them.
They-
jet skiing. Embarrassing.
Honestly, they're evil for that.
That was so cruel.
They knew exactly what they were doing, and they did it on purpose.
Yeah, that was cruel. That was really cruel. That was the moment where I felt the most for Laura. I was like, again, I don't have to like you, but I feel so freaking bad for you. Like, that hurts.
Like, as a woman,
I feel hurt.
I feel for you.
And then we get a talking head from Laura saying, you know, it was his responsibility to protect my heart. He made that commitment to me. And then we get a separate talking head from Jeremy saying that he didn't think he was given enough grace, which I don't know who taught these men the word grace, but we need to delete that from their vocabulary right now.
Take it away. Kenneth said it. Clay, Jeremy. Y'all need to know.
What is
you don't
going
get
on
grace.
With grace?
First of all, you've known each other for less than a month.
No,
you don't get grace.
There's no grace here.
Sorry. There's
How
no
are you
grace
getting
period.
grace if you're going talking to this girl in her car in her house at 5:30 a.m.? There's no grace to give.
Never will there be grace for that. I don't care if you've been together for 10 years. There is not enough time that you can spend with someone to have that much grace.
I was like, what is in the water in North Carolina? All these people are so upset. It's very Bible coded.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love grace, I guess.
We hate grace, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry to all the graces out there.
Yeah.
Not you.
Oh, like the name Grace. Oh no, if your name is Grace, I'm sure you're lovely.
Hopefully.
Anyway. So then we also get the like Jessica, Jimmy, Trevor, Chelsea situation, which is like the other main part of the pool party, right? So I think like Laura, Jeremy really dominated it, but there was something going on here too. Namely, you know, Jimmy and Jessica meeting and talking in person for the first time, Trevor and Chelsea talking in person for the first time.
Yeah.
So Jimmy and Jess talk. I thought it went on a little too long. I'm not gonna lie.
I also think they were flirting, a little bit. I don't. Not. It wasn't. As bad as I was expecting.
Yeah.
But there were some things that I heard. That were. I would get pissed about if I heard my partner talking to someone that they had feelings for.
I don't think they were flirting per se, but I think there was like a wistfulness to the conversation that
he literally said, "You were still my first choice."
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think flirting necessarily. Okay, like I don't think he was flirting with her about like the here and now, but I think they went a little bit too long down the road of like what ifs almost. I see. But like I don't think at any point he was expressing an openness to something now. Do you?
Even if it wasn't an openness to something now, he was saying things like, "Oh, I get so nervous around you. I'm so nervous around you." That's true. In my opinion, that's flirting. That's
actually true. Yeah.
So it was inappropriate to me. That's fair. I think it was inappropriate. It was inappropriate. Yeah. And fair. I think Chelsea, being the way that she is. Imagine. That's true. Come on.
I don't think you should have had that conversation in that way to begin with, but knowing that your partner is Chelsea, you better run the other way when Jessica looks at you.
Yep. Okay. Also, I don't know if you caught this, but when Jimmy and Jess went down to talk, you see Chelsea up there with all the girls being like, "I'm uncomfortable." And in my head immediately, I was like, shut the fuck up. Bro. We know you're uncomfortable. Everyone knows you're uncomfortable. Relax.
They were gonna talk, though. Like, regardless of what they talked about, like, whether it went on too long or not, like, them talking is expected and valid. Yes. Like, maybe they should talk differently. Yeah. But, of course, they were gonna talk. And she talked to Trevor.
Exactly. And it's like, what do you... Like, shut up.
Like, of course they're gonna talk.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I do want to say, I think, like, generally their conversation was harmless, I think, for the most part. Okay. I think Trevor and Chelsea also talked. I think their conversation was also generally harmless, but I did feel even flirtier than Jimmy and Jessica's.
Personally, I don't think I got that. I think Trevor was definitely leading a bit. For Chelsea, though, I don't... You know what? I'm gonna let you take the lead on this.
Yeah. So I've got some notes. Let's hear your notes. Yeah. So in Jimmy and Jessica's talk, I do want to note that, you know, he said things about her. Like he said, you know, I do care about you. Like she said, you never did tell me how you felt about me, which I felt was fishing.
Yeah.
For him to say, like, I still feel this type of way. And he said, you know, I care about you. Mm-hmm. That's it. But he said, you know, you're smart, you're witty, like, you're going to be great, like, all this, right? Chelsea with Trevor said, you know, when they talked about feelings, she was like, I loved you, and I do still love you. She also says to Trevor, you're my type, and he knows that. They talk about Trevor's mullet and the fact that he cut off his mullet. He's like, sorry about the mullet. I know that, you know, the picture you saw, I still had my mullet. And I was like, picture? We've seen a picture of Trevor? And she says, yeah, you know, I did creep on you a little bit, but when I followed you, you only had that one post. Followed you? We followed Trevor. Again, I don't have a problem with you following Trevor. I have a problem with you coming after Jimmy for seeing a picture of Jessica.
Right.
And you're out here also creeping on Trevor and following Trevor. Again, a normal thing to do. But why are we a hypocrite?
She's so hypocritical.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wait, yeah, I completely forgot about the conversation between Trevor and Chelsea. I didn't realize all of these things that she said.
She had so much anger for Jimmy following Jessica, looking at Jessica's picture, whatever happened. But she's here telling Trevor, yeah, I did creep on you a little bit. You know, when I followed you, you had this, like, whatever.
Okay.
He knows you're my type.
Okay, so I want to bring up something. You know that saying, if someone's, like, very suspicious of you cheating, it's probably because they're cheating. I feel like now it's past insecurity.
Yes.
There's more to it.
I agree.
She is having these certain feelings, and she's projecting that onto Jimmy.
I agree.
If he does the same thing that she knows she's doing, he's like, oh, he must feel the same way that I feel, and that's unacceptable.
I agree. I think that's very astute. I think from the beginning, I don't think Chelsea's ever been attracted to Jimmy, first of all. And I think he was initially shocked that she didn't look like Megan Fox.
Right.
But I don't think he was unattracted to her. Like, I think once he got past the fact that she didn't look like Megan Fox, he was like, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
She was immediately like, yeah, he's not my type. She was comparing him to, like, men on the beach and, like, all this stuff, making fun of him. Like, I said this before. I don't think she was attracted to Jimmy. And she knows she's attracted to Trevor. And she's literally saying all this shit out loud. And there's this one point where Chelsea says to Trevor, completely unprovoked, I'm glad you kept your bracelet. I still have mine.
Oh my God, I forgot about that part.
Referring to the bracelets that Chelsea got them in the pods, where you could tap the bracelet if you were thinking about them.
So weird.
Why are you telling him that you're glad he kept his bracelet and that you still have yours? That is weird as hell. That's not weird. That's actually, like, that's beyond flirting. Like, that's weird.
This is so much worse than Jimmy and Jess.
Yes. She's saying, actively flirting with him.
Yeah.
So she says that. And then another thing I want to say is that, like I said, with Jimmy, he was talking to Jessica about, like, you're smart, you're witty, like, gassing her up as, like, who she is, but in general, not talking about how she would have been with him in a relationship.
Yeah.
Chelsea is talking to Trevor all about the kind of partner that he would have been to her.
Right.
I know I would have never doubted that you loved me. I know we wouldn't have ever fought. I know all this. Like, talking about, like, how their relationship would have been.
Oh my God.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
You're so right.
The only reason that this ended, I honestly feel like this would have gone further. The only reason that this conversation ended is that Jimmy comes up, kisses Chelsea on the cheek, and then makes a whole thing because, like, him and Trevor were buddies. He kisses Trevor on the cheek.
Yeah.
I love Jimmy. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I love Jimmy.
Well, I'm not a Jimmy hater anymore, but I'm not a Jimmy.
I loved him kissing Trevor on the cheek. I thought that was adorable. He was like, I love you, buddy. I'll kiss you too.
That was cute.
Yes.
Sure. Whatever.
And Trevor said, I didn't write this part down, but Trevor said something like, oh, now this is awkward. He comes and kisses me right while I'm telling his fiance how much I'm thinking about her or something like that.
Yes.
It's like super weird. Also, I am looking at Trevor so differently now that we know what we know.
Right.
Like, everything he's saying, I'm like, shut up. Like you
none
actor.
of it is real.
Yeah, none of it's real.
That's just wild.
So
to
gross.
me.
But Chelsea, it's real for her.
Which makes it even. I'm sorry, but that makes it even more pathetic for Chelsea.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Oh God,
it's really embarrassing.
Like even this guy, he didn't want you.
Ooh. Anyway, and Jimmy does want you. Yeah. Look at you messing it up. Oh my God. I actually have no empathy left for her at all. Like there's none anymore.
No, she just pisses me off every single time. Like, I can't with her.
And then as they're getting up, Chelsea says to Trevor, "Oh, by the way, have you met our strongest couple over there, Johnny and Amy?" Jimmy was upset, and you know what? I think rightfully so. I think if she had said it to anyone else, it wouldn't have hurt him. But she said to Trevor, who she was literally just talking to, like, "Have you met our strongest couple over there?" Like, what does it say about us? Like, I want you don't have to, like, lie to everybody, but at least to your ex, I want you to say that we're strong.
I
don't want him to know about our fights.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was one of those foot in the mouth kind of moments.
Yeah.
I'm not reading too much into that because I think Chelsea just does say awkward things when she tries to lessen the tension or like transition into something else. She was just trying to say like a good goodbye. Yeah. And it came off like that. Yeah. You can interpret it multiple different ways, but I think she did the same thing with the whole AD comment.
Yeah. I'm not reading into that one for her. Like, I don't think she meant anything by that comment, but I'm saying, like, I understand Jimmy being a little bit miffed by that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
He's like, you're really going to say to Trevor that someone else is the strongest couple? Like, I could see that. And I will say, like, Jimmy didn't make it an issue.
He didn't.
He was just like, why would you say that? That kind of hurt. And then she was like, don't be mad, babe. Don't be mad. Like, I didn't mean it. And he was like, okay, I'm not mad. And that was it.
Yeah, that was it. Like, he really didn't make that an issue. So that was good.
Yeah.
I feel like Chelsea... I don't know. With me, I feel like Chelsea wanted him to make it an issue. Like, she just always wants issues. So I wouldn't be surprised if... Because she was looking at him like...
Don't be mad.
Yeah,
Are you mad, babe?
She was taking it so seriously.
And he was already
just
saying
like,
no. He was already like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah,
cool.
he's like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, stop.
Don't be mad.
Like, relax. It's not that serious.
All right. We did it. We're done with PP. Now on to...
Post-PP.
PP.
No, we can't do that. Okay, we can't PPP. It's pre-PP, PP, post-PP.
All right. Post-PP. Post-PP. Not much happens post-PP. So we're kind of almost done here.
Yeah.
But basically, after the drama, it looks like Jimmy and Chelsea are good now, you know? So Jimmy and Chelsea make an ice sculpture for their wedding. I'm not gonna lie, I was laughing as I saw this because they were talking to like a professional ice sculptor about the sculpture that they wanted. And Jimmy was like, yeah, can it be like a P for like my last name? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden, Chelsea and Jimmy like take out saws and they start carving. And I was like, are they making it? And they make something completely different. They make like 2 rings and they're like writing into it. It looks so bad. Bless them. It can't be easy. And I think a good 5 minutes while they were doing this, thought that they were making their actual ice sculpture for their wedding. It only hit me afterwards that like they were just doing this for fun and then the guy was going to make the one that they had talked about.
I didn't.
Did you also think that was the one for their wedding?
Exactly.
Oh my God, it was
like,
so ugly.
I was like, that's so ugly.
Yeah.
I was like, whatever.
Like, damn, you can't buy taste. I was like, that is so ugly. Also, it's not a P. Like,
no. I was like, please don't do this.
Yeah. Also, it's like this ice sculptor is like absolutely making a killing. Like, people come to him and pay him to just like make shitty things themselves. Right. Like, I was like, love that.
He still does. Yeah, you're right. He does get paid for that.
Yeah, but I think that wasn't like. I think he is also going to make a real ice sculpture.
I agree.
Just thought it was so funny because I was literally watching like in horror. Like, you should have seen my face as I'm watching this unfold. I was like, what is that?
I still didn't understand what it was. Even when they showed it, I was so confused.
So ugly.
I ignored it, though.
I couldn't do better. Truly, I couldn't.
I think that's a lie.
With ice?
I think you could.
I have Raynaud's syndrome, so my fingers.
Do you actually have Raynaud's? You have Raynaud's?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I do. So I wouldn't actually be able to sculpt ice. Do you also?
Probably. I get yellow.
I think that's fair. I don't go blue. Yeah, I go like
go blue
purple,
and yellow.
like white, purple.
I go both. I go blue. I go yellow. Right now,
if you go blue, you definitely.
I don't know if you see it. It's a little right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I get the same. Oh, me too. My index finger goes more white than the rest of them.
Okay, so yeah, I think I do have Raynaud's. Yeah, I think I do.
I love that for us. We have no future as ice sculptors.
Not for us. I don't want frostbite.
But yeah, so they do this god awful ice sculpture, and then Plan AD paint some sneakers. I thought that looked really fun. I don't know what it had to do with their wedding. I was like, are they gonna wear those?
I didn't really get it, but it was cute.
It looked fun. It looked like a fun activity.
It was cute.
They had like cute banter, you know, like they had this moment where it was like they looked like they'd be like really good together. Like she was talking about how she was gonna like give up everything and be a painter, and they were bantering. It was sweet. Johnny and Amy have another conversation about birth control. I know you have thoughts on this, friend, so I would love to hear them.
Okay, so I just want to start off by saying that the whole time I don't think that Johnny was ever really considering a vasectomy. Mm-hmm. I think it was all on her from the beginning. I'm just going to put that out there. I didn't like how he constantly brought up his ex-girlfriends being on birth control. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I just didn't have to think about it because all of my ex-girlfriends were on birth control. Okay, well, it's actually a pretty serious thing to go on, and it fucks with a lot of women's systems. A lot of people don't want to put that in their system, and for you to just like chalk it up to like, oh, like it was just always there is not okay. In these specific episodes, he talks about how there's an experimental birth control for men. Immediately it was a no. Immediately it was a no for him. And then Amy, being Amy, was just like, oh, yeah, I don't want you to go on that either. And then, of course, the only option was for Amy to get birth control. Because he also talked about a vasectomy and how it wasn't what he thought it was. How they actually have to, like, cut the vein. And, like, he wasn't open to that anymore. So that whole conversation just rubbed me the wrong way. I think from the beginning, the responsibility was on Amy when it shouldn't have been. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. That's all fair. I think that's all true. I don't necessarily blame Johnny specifically, though. Like, I think that all of the responsibility has always been on Amy, just like you said. Like, it was always up to her. But I think that is just more... like societally it is just up to the women because that's the availability of what we've funded, like what we have available.
Absolutely. I get you.
Because like a vasectomy is not fully reversible.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
It's only like 50%.
I think it's like 80% reversible, but regardless, it's not fully reversible. Yeah. And I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But also like condoms weren't enough, and
which is fair. Like so another thing I want to say about the condom thing, because a lot of people I saw online were like coming at Johnny. I think a lot of people, first of all, didn't hear him when they said that they would already be using condoms. A lot of people were like, has this man never heard of condoms? And he was saying that wasn't enough. Like what I want to say about that is, if he's 100% sure that he doesn't want a child right now, like no one should ever have sex with less protection than they feel comfortable with. Like anyone.
Okay, but here's the issue with that.
Yeah.
The more protection comes at Amy's expense.
Yes, and that's where I'm like, I think there's other options that maybe they considered but we didn't see. Like like spermicide, like there's all sorts of different, like a diaphragm and a condom, like there's like other options that they could have considered in addition that weren't necessarily hormonal, that they could have talked about. Maybe they did. We didn't see
Possibly,
that.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I don't think that a vasectomy should be, not should. I think that them taking a vasectomy off the table for temporary birth control, knowing that they for sure want to have a family at some point, makes sense, not just for Johnny, but also for Amy. Like, if she knows that she wants biological kids with him at some point, it makes sense to take that off the table.
So I don't really have an issue with the vasectomy thing because, again, that is an invasive procedure.
Yeah.
I understand that. It's the whole experimental birth control thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I get it. It's experimental.
It's a study, yeah.
I get it. I totally get it, all right? But at the same time, you're putting all of this on her.
Yeah.
Like, it's up to her. It's her body that you're going to mess with. She's regular. She doesn't actually want to go on that stuff.
Yeah.
But you're essentially forcing her to. I'm sorry, but that's what it comes down to because you are unwilling to do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I just, like, am kind of shying away from, like, I'm seeing a lot of people, not just you, like, online, also saying that Johnny is, like, forcing Amy or coercing Amy in this. And I think I just, like, hesitate with that because throughout all of this, like, we've only seen Amy say, like, I'm not currently on birth control. I'm not sure if I want to go on birth control, but it is something that she has considered in the past. It's something her doctor said would be good for her other health conditions. And she says it in this conversation as well. Like, she doesn't at the end of this conversation say, I will go on birth control. She's like, I am still considering birth control because, you know, it would help me with my other health condition. So I feel like, and I will also add that Amy went on Instagram and said in a story, like, one of the things that she loves about Johnny is that he was always sweet to her and never pressured her, especially with birth control. So I just, like, want to, like, I feel like it is really easy for, like, these are characters. So I feel like it's easy for us to be like, oh, he's like this and he's that. And we're doing that too with, like, Chelsea and all this stuff. But I don't know, like, forcing, I feel like can be, like, kind of a lot to put on someone.
But here's the thing. Do you really think someone who's being coerced is going to say that they were coerced? A lot of times they don't know.
Right, but I just don't see, like, we're not seeing that.
I am seeing that. I'm definitely seeing that.
Okay.
Because there's more ways than just explicit coercion. There's also subtle coercion. And that's what I personally feel like I've seen throughout their whole interactions about this whole birth control, vasectomy, condoms, whatever situation. Like, the whole time, it has been subtle coercion.
Okay.
I do understand what you're saying. I do understand where you're coming from as well.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to jump to that extreme.
Yeah.
And that is totally fair. I think I just see this in a different way. I'm just very, very against men leaving this as an only option.
Yeah, no, I see where you're coming from. And I see, like, I do see all of the discourse. I really do. And, like, I get it. And everyone also is, like, coming at this with their own background, too. Like, I think there are probably a lot of women who've, like, been in similar situations and are also coming at it with that lens. And that, like, totally makes sense. I personally feel like based on what we have, the conversations that we have seen, we don't know what has been edited out, obviously.
True.
Based on the conversations we have seen, I feel like I'm seeing a lack of education on Johnny's part. I'm seeing that there aren't many options, unfortunately. Like, societally, I think that that's a problem, that there aren't many options that don't put it on the woman other than condoms. Like, condoms are basically the only current reliable male-only birth control.
Yeah.
And it's not that he doesn't want to use those. It's that he wants something additional. And I'm seeing, like, two people discussing options regarding future family planning and weighing those options. And one more thing I want to add is that this particular conversation struck me as a conversation for filming And what I mean by that is like the way that it was wrapped up really neatly with a bow. Like he was like, and I think a lot of people are seeing that as like, oh, he was so quick to dismiss vasectomy. He was so quick to dismiss this. But what I saw that as is like, they probably talked about it on their own. They were probably sitting there doing research together. They came to a decision. And then the producers were like, hey, we have to wrap up this birth control arc. Like, can you guys, like, talk about this? And he was like, okay, yeah, I researched vasectomy. That's a no. I researched this. That's a no. She was like, and I'm still considering birth control. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
That's like how I saw that, too.
I can definitely see that. Yeah, again, I don't want to harp on the vasectomy thing. I think it's valid. I think it's valid to say no to a vasectomy that is invasive. It's like saying no to getting your tubes tied, even though...
Yeah.
You know,
the thing with the vasectomy for me is not even that it's like invasive, because birth control is invasive. Like I think birth control is actually more like a pill or an IUD. I think is more invasive than a vasectomy because it messes with your hormones. Like it's not even that. I think for me it's the fact that it's not necessarily reversible. And I feel like it's possible that Amy is also like, yeah, I don't want you to do something that you might not be able to reverse.
Yeah. That's facts. Yeah. I agree. I completely agree with that. On the other hand, birth control can also mess up your fertility.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so there's that. But
but
I get what you're saying.
The percentages are...
You're right. Yeah. I fully agree with you on that one. Like, that's why I'm not harping on the vasectomy thing. Yeah. Like, it's okay for you to say... I understand why you would say no to a vasectomy. It's really the experimental birth control thing that kind of got to me, because, like, you have a chance here to kind of, like, on top of condoms, to try this out and see how it works. Because ultimately you're gonna say, oh, like, I don't want all these bad symptoms happening to me with this experimental birth control. Well, even with the non-experimental birth control for a woman, she's gonna experience those symptoms. It's just not fair. Like, you don't get it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I will say though, I was like looking up all the stuff today, like before talking about it, because I didn't want to like say something incorrect. And I was actually shocked by like the vasectomy statistics, because I have heard people say like vasectomy should be like talked about more in sex ed as like a form of male birth control, or like why don't more men get vasectomies as birth control. And I was actually shocked to see like how difficult it is for them to be reversed. Like I think the statistic is something like it's very likely for them to be reversed, in the sense that like the tubes can be rejoined. Okay. But the longer you wait, and even at something like 5 years, the likelihood of fertility goes down to 50%. So even if the tubes get rejoined, you might not be having sperm in your semen anymore. Right. So you might not be fertile.
Right. I heard a vasectomy is only like a viable option for about 1 to 2 years if you still want children. Yeah. You're not supposed to have it. Yeah. It's recommended that you don't have it longer than that, because that's when like your fertility really does start
and it
dropping.
Was something like after 8 years it goes down to like 30%, which is crazy. But that was just surprising to me, because I've heard many people say like, oh, vasectomies as like temporary birth control. That's false. Temporary. I think they need to get on that male birth control pill. I think that needs to move that one along, please.
Come on, hurry it up.
Well, we are pretty much done with the episodes. Yeah. Only thing we have left is the dress and tux shopping. I gotta say, this is my least favorite part of Love is Blind. It's kind of a snooze fest for me.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I did not watch any of that.
That is fair. I normally wouldn't have. I did this time for the episode. Because I'm a good podcaster.
Okay. My God. Making me look like I'm uncommitted.
No. You didn't miss anything, is what I was going to say. The only notes that I have are AD looked fabulous in her dress that she chose, but included with it a veil that had embroidered on the bottom the words, "Till death do us part." I thought that was weird. I'm not going to lie, but we did get... AD saying in a demon voice, "Till death do us part," and I liked that.
Wait, I think I did see that.
Yeah, but I thought the veil was weird.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
Another note I have is that Amy and her mom are adorable.
Aw.
They were just very sweet. That's literally it. Also, Chelsea talked a lot about her first marriage.
Oh.
Constantly.
Yeah?
I didn't get this experience with my first marriage. This is so different from when I was 18. This dress is so much nicer than the one that I had before. This
Girl.
feels different this time. There's no third time's the charm. Like, just over and over talking about her first marriage. Okay. And my fourth note is that men are boring. And nothing happened. I don't even have one note for the tuxes.
Yeah.
So.
So wrapping this episode up in a nice little bow tie.
Yes.
Did you like that?
On, sorry?
Did you like that?
A bow tie like a vasectomy?
What I just said? What? No, like a tux.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Tying up the tubes on this episode.
Oh my God. I'm done with you.
Time to snip the vas deferens on this episode.
Snip the vas deferens. No.
That's literally what I thought you meant. Like tie it up in a bow. It's so funny.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
God, I had such a good outro. Outro?
Outro. Scooby-Doo. Is that you?
Hey.
Y'all, it's late. And then the very last thing that happens is that Jimmy and Chelsea have an amusement park date. Jimmy, it sounds like you didn't see this part of the episode, so I'll just talk. They seem to be very loved up and good.
Oh, okay.
They have dinner after the amusement park date, and Jimmy basically says, you know, in all this, I keep telling you exactly where I stand. I'm all the way in. You know, like, how I feel about you. I know what's going to happen when we get to the altar on my end. But in all this, I've never gotten an answer from you. And she's like, you want my answer? He's like, yeah. And she hesitates. Editing magic can happen here. So I'm not even saying that she hesitated in real life. It's possible that she blinked and then gave her answer.
Yeah.
But I did just find it interesting that for somebody who asks for so much validation, she's apparently never really made her feelings clear to Jimmy.
Yeah.
And that made me feel really sad for him.
It makes me feel sad for him, and also just shows me how manipulative Chelsea can be.
Yeah. That made me
Weird
sad.
behavior.
That he has to, like, explicitly ask her
Yeah.
where she's at because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see what a response is.
All right. Can we get some predictions for who's making it? Who's getting married?
That's really hard. Okay, so I think AD and Clay. I think AD is gonna say yes for sure. Clay. I think they'll get married.
Okay.
I think Amy and Johnny will get married.
Okay.
Jimmy and Chelsea. That's a bit more. Oh no, I don't think they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think AD and Clay, no.
Okay.
I think AD will say yes. I think Clay will say no.
Okay.
I think Amy and Johnny, yes. Jimmy and Chelsea, I think yes. Jimmy's a hell yes, and I think Chelsea's also going to say yes. I don't see why she wouldn't.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And then she'd honestly be foolish to walk away from, like, she wants validation, like, he's giving it to you left, right, and center. Like, that man is not about to walk away from you.
You're so right. You know, usually I'm pretty, like, solid with my predictions, but this one, very wishy-washy for me. I don't have a good instinct on this one, so we'll see.
The only people I think should be getting married are Amy and Johnny, though, I will say that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think anyone else should get married except for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's it. Love is maybe blind. Love
Blurry.
is blurry. Shout out to Shake. Best guy ever.
Love him.
Thanks, y'all, for listening to our Love is Blind episode.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And now we're going to wrap this up in a little bow tie.
We're going to cut the vas deferens on this episode. Well, with that, have a good night.
And don't let the bed bugs bite.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Good
Bye,
night.
y'all.
Bye.